Hello, everyone. This is the Real Shit Podcast. Of course, it's your host, Jussie.
This is No Jussie, as you guys know, and today we have a new member. You want to introduce him?
Yeah. You know, a very long-time friend of the both of us, our beautiful yet sexy
Hello, everyone. This is the Real Shit Podcast. Of course, it's your host, Jussie.
Hello, it's a
This
pleasure
is No
to be
Jussie,
here.
as you guys know, and today...
Let me thank you boys again for bringing me on this podcast.
You know, a very long-time friend of the both of us, our beautiful
all good.
yet sexy...
Little stream difficulties.
Just figuring something out here real quick.
You know, nothing too bad.
Hopefully that didn't screw you guys over. Yeah, the desktop audio was mixing in with the...
I noticed.
Yeah. So.
But yeah, you know, back to it, of course, our introduction to our newest host, our boy L.
We got L here.
Oh yeah.
L is L has not only been our he is our lifetime friend.
Indeed.
But he is one that aligns with the cause and what we're doing. He wants to get involved, and here we have him involved on his own volition, of course.
Of course.
Guys, I'm truly honored to be here. Really, I want you to know I really appreciate this opportunity you guys are giving me to spread the word and awareness about the injustices that's going on in our world right now, because
Indeed.
there's some things that aren't being talked about that need to be heard.
Yeah.
And if no one else is willing to do it, well, we're going to do it because we believe in it. And again, just honored to be here with especially you two. Very, very well known Jussie, the face of the franchise. No Jussie, the man that doesn't get enough credit.
That is
You're him.
That's good. That's good.
Indeed.
You guys do some good work, so I'm honored to be a part of this, and especially to you guys. You guys, the family. You guys make us. So thank you for inviting me and having me as part of your family. I'm honored, truly.
That's what's up, man.
Oh, yeah.
That's why we're living. That's why we're breathing.
That's why we're here, you know. We appreciate you for willing to be on here, you know.
Oh, absolutely.
Now, many people are up to the task that you are able to accomplish. And, you know, just for a quick, nostalgic reminder, he actually still has experience, our boy L, on a past stream on our channel on YouTube. So he's not new to this. He is committed. That's all we got to say.
So
he's on here, man.
L, if you watched our old streams, if you go on our homepage, I believe we have a video titled "We Are Here," and L right here was on that video, and he was with us on Memorial Day at the march in D.C. where we were basically handing out flyers to people who were uninformed. So,
oh yeah,
he did his part.
More importantly, for freeing Miles Guo,
Yeah,
Absolutely,
Very
big part of that.
Indeed,
Big part of that.
So, but with that being said, we got L here. He's gonna stay. He's gonna be a new face. We're gonna have 3 people now just to have some better conversation. Because we can't just be talking to you guys and not talking with each other. You know, you guys are in on the conversation with us. Okay, we're not trying to make this a school project or anything.
Well said, no Jussie. Well said.
We still presenting facts, nonetheless. Nonetheless.
That's what
I may
we're
be
here.
stuttering, but it's
No
all good,
problem.
man.
You know, stuttering's all part of the conversation.
You
but it
sound
is not.
great. You sound great.
Yeah, there you go. But on to it. We're over here talking about the Chino-Fentanyl pipeline, and more importantly, the fentanyl crisis that we have here in the United States of America. A very big issue, if I would like to say so myself.
I'd agree with that. Certainly.
Yeah.
Certainly an issue that isn't talked about enough, something that we need to bring awareness to.
Yeah, for sure. Because, if you guys don't know what fentanyl is, it's an opioid narcotic. It's you think it's so good since it's actually used in hospitals and various things like that, but it's significantly more potent than heroin and morphine. My apologies. And I believe the correct calculations are it's 100 times more potent than morphine and 50 times more potent than heroin. So clearly, it's some fucked up shit.
It's a kicker. It's a goddamn.
Yeah, if you guys don't know, that's that's bad. That's bad.
If you got your wisdom teeth removed, you probably got fentanyl, and they probably gave it to you, and you were just unconscious after that. You just go to sleep and you wake up. That's what the drug does. It completes. It shuts you down. It's not
Absolutely.
Good.
Yeah, I've heard most hospitals that's their go-to drug, but they're very concise and precise. Precise with the amount that they're giving you. And when you get it on the streets, like people here in America and all over the world are getting, it's it's an unrecognized amount. You don't know what you're getting. You don't know what else is in it. It's just a very dangerous thing to be playing around with, not in a medical professional sense.
Real life threat, So clearly not made for recreational use.
It's not.
Certainly not.
Other things are made for that, but not fentanyl.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. We're not trying to be like frat brothers. Your frat brother Kyle. Me on a ski mountain. Turns out that whole mountain's laced with fent.
Yeah.
What happens to that?
Only some people would know. Or college-educated people would know what a ski mountain is. But on the other hand, fentanyl, while it's so potent and kind of tasty to those who like drugs, it's led to over 64,000 deaths. That's only in 2021.
In a single year.
In 1 year, and I think it was getting introduced by that time because fentanyl is like the low-key substitute for like morphine, because I think you need a lot more morphine to do what a little bit of fentanyl does.
Yeah, and I mean morphine alone is already a very powerful drug.
Morphine.
So we're talking about something even more powerful than that.
Even more powerful than heroin. And,
I
thought back in the day heroin
was up until I was 15, 16, heroin was the top. What the top dogs played with.
Sheesh.
Not in a good sense.
So. Now that you guys have a little bit of a sense of what this drug is, what it can kill people, it can ruin families, it can ruin lives. I'm sure we've seen people who've been victim to these drugs, and let's just say some of them are no longer around. You know what I mean? Not people that we may have directly known, but people we have known of at some points. We knew of them, and they passed, unfortunately, as a result. But, a lot of them recovered, which is good.
Much more common than you would think.
It's recoverable enough of a drug if you want it, if you want to recover. But if you're in that position,
it's hard.
And you're taking this shit, you're boned.
Yeah, it's hard to let go,
Absolutely, yeah.
So, now that you guys have a little background, again, let me reiterate. What we're going to be talking about is about the causes, so how this drug infiltrates the U.S., what effect it has on our people. We can't pull up any videos about that, but if you look on The Real Shit, you'll see one video we had about fentanyl, and that brings a lot to light. So most of our facts are from that video. And we're also going to be talking about just the overall correlation between fentanyl getting shipped here and the Chinese Communist Party's role in it. So,
indeed. And they do have a big role to play.
Yeah.
That we can tell you.
So, do we want to move on to our first little article here? What was this on? CPR, right? CPD?
Or, was it the Brookings article?
The Brookings article. The Brookings article.
Yes, please.
All right, so...
no, just inform me. What exactly... What is the content of this article, and what makes this drug so dangerous?
So this would be starting with the... this article adds on to, the geopolitical strategy of fentanyl, how it's kind of weaponized as a form of, as you said before,
narco warfare.
There you go.
Indeed.
Narco warfare. Wow.
So Wuhan is considered as it's the production center of fentanyl, fentanyl precursor specifically. And if you guys know, we've had a lot of stuff going on with Wuhan from COVID. Wuhan,
a shady place to say the least.
Not the best place.
Yeah.
But since it's such a production center, it's kind of really offset the drug prices in the U.S. The Chinese government actually, in this Brookings article, it was accused of weaponizing fentanyl production as kind of a broader political maneuver. Because
wow, that's scary.
You guys know what happened to the I believe the British people or some British government, the opioid crisis from China onto the UK. You guys watch Peaky Blinders?
I did hear about that. How China just flooded the streets with fentanyl.
With opium.
With opioids.
Opium?
Yeah.
Opium specifically. Yeah, they were smoking.
Specifically opium, and it just ruined society. It ruined their society. The people, were off their shit. No one was thinking straight. It was a bad time, a dark time for the UK, and here we're trying to prevent that.
For sure. But it really does seem like we're going down that path, considering the major U.S. cities that have this big crisis going on in their streets.
So, yeah, that's right. Yeah. And, if you guys look at Oakland, California in particular, I'm going to be mentioning a lot of Oakland in this because that's a real cesspool of drug use and overall a place where shady things happen. It's also above the South American border where we'll eventually talk about how this drug gets in through the South American border. So, they're kind of really hit by the first wave of fent when it comes here. But regarding this topic, actually, Nancy Pelosi, I didn't mention, Nancy Pelosi visited Taiwan, and they were ceasing negotiations over fentanyl control because, China is ceasing negotiations over fentanyl control because of political moves by the U.S. That's basically what Nancy Pelosi's visit kind of highlighted, that China won't really be giving a fuck on what they're giving to the U.S., because they could be partnered with whoever they're partnered with and really, really overfuck us, overthrow us. If that was so eloquently put, overfuck us.
So another way to put that is China will go to any lengths to make the U.S. to take down the world power right now.
The world hegemon,
the United States.
Right.
China's doing everything that they can, including infiltrating its citizens with a deadly drug.
For sure, Al. For sure.
That's scary stuff.
Oh yeah.
So, okay, we honestly have conflicting evidence. So I'm gonna say what we originally said, how it led to 64,000 deaths. It's actually around the number of 80,000 overdose deaths.
Oh my goodness.
So it went up.
Nearly double.
More recently now. Huh?
Wow.
Yeah, but that's still 2021 though. So there was a little miscommunication with the numbers, but it's still fentanyl is the leading cause of a majority of opioid deaths nowadays. So.
It just goes to show how common of a drug it is.
Actually, if you read it correctly,
overdosing on it is super easy as well. There's plenty of videos on YouTube you can find. Police officers, not just a little whiff, fentanyl, and that they just keel over like a donkey. You know what I mean?
I've heard the amount of fentanyl that can kill you can fit on your pinky, on your pinky nail. That's deadly, guys. That's really serious stuff. It's really scary to think about, especially considering that we've known people. Not per se dear friends of ours, but people that we've talked to have been affected by this drug and unfortunately have lost their lives.
Yeah, that's right.
It's closer than you guys think, You may know someone, you may not, but it's very common.
So, would you guys like to move on to how this stuff gets in here? Because I think that's
pretty
juicy.
I believe you guys should really know the details about that. For sure.
So what I'd like to do is I'd like to take a little break on talking about how it affects us, but we should talk about how it gets here first.
Oh,
that's what I want to do.
Please do. How does a drug such as fentanyl make its way from China into the borders of the United States?
All right. On a 2019 DEA intelligence report, you guys can look it up if you guys just look up fentanyl flow to the United States. China continues to be the primary supplier with fentanyl and related substances, such as precursor. They're trafficked through mail, as well as express consignments. I don't really know what an express consignment is, but I'm guessing that's just an express package. Maybe like that's some guy in
UPS overnight shipping.
UPS overnight shipping for the fentanyl,
That must be that easy, I guess.
So seizures of fentanyl, not like fentanyl having seizures, but seizing fentanyl from China. These are like they only get small little bits of fent, but this fent is like the purest of the. Like if you guys watched Breaking Bad,
Great show of one of my favorites.
You know how their meth was over 96% pure, damn near 99%.
Walter White's 99.
99. Walter White 99. This is what they're finding, but they're finding it in small size because that's all you need. When you have a purity of 99%,
that'll pack a punch,
dude.
Sure.
That'll I think if you take as much, if you just take a little pinky to the face,
less than that.
I think you're done.
Yeah.
Less than that.
I think you're just absolutely.
You could die off that,
Absolutely.
So easily. So, in response, this is also in the DEA report, but Chinese and Hong Kong authorities, of course, when push comes to shove, they're gonna have to regulate it, to the best of their capability. Well, they're not the top of the barrel people, but they're controlling the precursor chemicals.
No, they are controlling.
And but you see what happens with that is there are big players. There's control in China within China, But these people can still make their profit by outsourcing it.
Mhm.
They can throw it out. They could throw it out to another country.
Mm-hmm.
That's where the what cartel's name was it?
Yeah, so there's actually basically two: the Jalisco cartel and the Sinaloa cartel.
Yeah.
All in northern Mexico.
So what you're saying is that China takes this drug, it has minimal regulations, and when those regulations are not being met, the Chinese will ship this drug to South America, specifically to these two cartel groups. What were their names again?
Jalisco cartel and the Sinaloa.
The
cartel.
Jalisco and the Sinaloa.
So
Very
They'll
big
ship
powerful
them,
cartels.
and because South America has much less laws than China, it's just easier for them to control the drug and get into the borders.
that's right. So
Sure.
Wow.
you know, it's all about right now. It's mainly Mexico expanding production and expansion of the drug. So these Mexican drug trafficking organizations, they actually increase their production capabilities of fentanyl. So there's a way that people get around this in China is, these pharmaceutical companies, instead of selling the fent, just raw, like pure fent, all made up. They actually, not raw, but nice, measured and potent fentanyl. Instead, they just sell the precursors to make the fentanyl yourself. So it's like you're getting like a box of Legos on how to make fentanyl from China.
Wow.
That's what these cartels are doing.
Wow, the blueprints to make this drug?
Yep. So TCOs, Mexican trafficking organization, TCOs.
Sure, it's trafficking cartel.
Trafficking
organization.
cartel organization. That's a good
You
one.
know?
So, as you said, the Sinaloa and the Jalisco New Generation cartels are actually the primary suppliers of fent in the Mexico border. So when we talk about fentanyl coming through the Southern America border, this is what we talk about. The two cartels that are able to obtain the precursor that's so openly sold by Chinese pharmaceutical companies. They have like their own little Build-A-Bear kit to make this dangerous ass, potent ass shit, and then ship it on over to the U.S. where the real profit is to be made.
That's scary that some people can just have so little care for what such a powerful drug can do.
Yeah, and just the tools to make the drug.
The disregard of human life.
Money hungry,
Yeah.
disgusting,
Yeah. Communists.
Bastards, communists.
despicable
Yeah,
people.
Ugly ass motherfuckers.
It's even more fucked up. India has a role in this fentanyl supply chain. So if you look at the map, you see that all this fentanyl precursor comes from China. So it goes to India, and then from India it gets shipped to the U.S. on the West Coast, or it goes all the way to South America, and then the cartels manufacture it and then bring it up on over to the U.S. So that's their fentanyl flow. That's what we call the
Chino-Mexico fentanyl pipeline. That is the correct term.
Wow.
But you know what's crazy about it? Because it's not just smuggled through criminals. These cartels, it's really unfortunate because you have a lot of illegal migrants, as we talked about in our past segment, our RFK documentary. That's what it was about, Midnight at the Border. A lot of migrants want to, achieve the American dream, but, sometimes at what cost? Maybe to cross the border or for better protection or, better routes through America, they got to smuggle some of the fent themselves. They could have been innocent, they could be criminal. But the fact is, a lot of these people who might just be innocent that are trying to escape the very same cartels that they're trying to run from have to work for them in aiding them with their fent drug trade. It's unfortunate,
Jesse, that's a good point.
Yeah.
That's absolutely awful to hear.
Yeah,
Would you even go so far as to say women, families, children are being forced
to
ship this drug to smuggle this drug across the border because their lives depend on it?
I feel like they have no other choice, It's unfortunate.
When you're in a situation where you have to illegally immigrate to the U.S., there are going to be other illegal people, illegal things coming with you, and you're not always going to have just like, here's a bus ride to the U.S. completely undocumented. You're all good. You're going to be hiking with probably somebody else's fentanyl. You're not just going to be paying to get over there. No, you're going to be paying to get over there, and you're going to be taking their own shit for them. So that's another way they utilize that. Well, that's cartel utilizing their manipulation and hold over people
Brutal.
to
Just
fit people
absolutely
with these drugs.
brutal, despicable acts.
Manipulation of human life, you know?
So
how low could you go?
I want to go back to the India's role in the global fentanyl supply chain. So, especially after the DEA helped take down a lab in India, Indore, India. Dude, right? Indore, India. Did you hear that? Indore, India.
Was that a city?
Indore, India. That's
city
the
in
name.
India?
Yeah, that's the city.
Indore, India.
Indore, India.
Interesting.
Okay.
Yeah.
India indoors. They busted down the doors to get the lab and destroy it. But India has connections to the Sinaloa cartel. And they also are sourcing, they're also listed as a source of precursor chemicals as a result of China's tighter controls. So, that basically sums it up to two things. Either India is taking it in its own hands, and their pharmaceutical companies are going off the rails and sending these precursor materials to the Sinaloa and Jalisco cartel, or China, because they're so strict, they use India as a backdoor to get it out of their continent over to the U.S. and South America. So that's two causes, And I wouldn't really fully expect the CCP to just not be involved, especially with their neighbors right below them,
Yeah.
When it comes to illegal stuff, people are going to band together and get their shit moving.
I'm astonished that India has connections with the Mexican cartel.
India.
It's incredible.
India's
I can get the CCP for sure, but India?
Listen, India's
surprising.
India, they know how to do their stuff.
I guess so.
Because all they're doing here with fentanyl is diversifying their trafficking capabilities.
Mm-hmm.
They're just doing it from continent to continent, and you can't just have China working by themselves when they're under so much heat and so much watch for these precursors.
So India is sort of the middleman, you could say, from the production of this drug.
Yeah,
in
India's
Wuhan, China.
India's for sure
into the U.S. India is a middleman.
Because I don't think Indian corps. I don't think that they would have a lot of it. China's manufacturing capabilities for pharmaceuticals is insane.
Mm-hmm.
When compared to others, it's insane. They got a lot of stuff in China.
Mm-hmm.
They got all the meds. But overall, the DEA report just suggests that India is involved, and they're more known by the DEA to be involved with these cartels.
Wow.
Yeah. So.
Wow. It's incredible to think that such a dangerous and illegal drug has such an organized sort of organization. Getting this from its manufacturing point into ultimately what China is hoping to destroy, which is the United States.
Yeah, they got a schedule. That's for sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
So. All right. So I'm sure to sum things up, we spoke about the way that fentanyl gets into the U.S. We talked about China, their ability, how they once actually manufactured the fentanyl. They had it in high purity, small quantities, and then they proceeded to ship them over to India. China used to just ship it over to America straight up, I believe, through mail. But then I believe they found India as a backdoor or a middleman, if you would say, as you said, middleman, to kind of get these over to their cartel connections, which is smart, because
definitely covers their tracks, don't you think?
Oh yeah,
just muddles it a little bit.
Oh yeah, because then should the DEA break down, say, a cartel's door and say, where did you get this? These cartel members, India, exactly, and China gets off scot-free.
If you,
absolutely,
it's because I would do the same thing if I were to get under the sides of the U.S. government,
create a proxy.
And
it might be terrible, but man, does it work?
Criminals, they know what they're doing, unfortunately, but they do know how to be one step ahead sometimes.
Listen, bro. All I'm saying is it's kind of smart how they low-key just used India as something to kind of as a scapegoat.
Oh, absolutely.
But you can see that it's China who has the ability to produce these precursors on high quantities.
Right. They're the number one manufacturer.
Like when it comes to this bad shit, China's real good at it. They've been around for like 5,000 years. They've had a lot of screwed up shit going on. They do a lot of things.
That's for sure.
So they have a history, and we don't know that whole history, but we know what they're doing right now. And they're fucking us over with fentanyl.
Oh yeah.
And we're not saying anyone's perfect. All right, we know no one, no country, no person, no thing in this world is perfect.
Right.
But to actively infiltrate the United States by supplying this drug is truly awful.
It's a geopolitical strategy.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's narco warfare.
Narco warfare. Because at this day and age, I don't think any country wants to actually physically fight, whether it gets down to nukes. So I guess the next best course of action is targeting the interior, the economy, people, innocent people, the youth, the next generation.
We think of war, we think of militaries and jets and this new technology, nukes, bombs, as you said.
Artillery.
Little did we know that the most dangerous war of all could be
comes from the inside.
It could be this organic chemical compound that is infiltrated into countries and ruins lives.
Listen,
poisons the well.
If it was organic, it would have been good. It's inorganic and it's lab made.
You're right. It's entirely synthetic. I apologize for that.
No,
You're right.
I'm not trying to give you that.
You understand the message for real.
You like heroin is grown from poppy seeds, and that's what the Mexico has been pushing for a while. Now there's this new stuff, which is nice and easy to make.
Completely real cheap too.
Cheap. It's like cocaine compared to crack cocaine. You got crack, which is just diluted coke, and then you got fent, which is actually just crazier morphine. It's just crazy. So
real narcotic. It's crazy.
Now that we spoke about how this gets over here, how this stuff actually pulls up.
Could I just back us up for one moment? I remember you mentioned something about a Chino-Mexican pipeline.
Oh yeah.
Is that correct?
I had mentioned that for real.
What exactly is it? Like, when you say that, I imagine a physical pipeline where it's like they just slide the drugs in and it comes out into the U.S.
Yeah.
Could you expand on that a little bit more?
So it's not like a physical pipeline, but more is the fact that it's basically a route. It's like a basic map, like a statistical map of where the Chinese manufacturers will smuggle through. Not directly in Mexico, but down smuggling through South America. Comes up, travels up through, who knows, various vehicles or other people that were paid, to move it up through the continent. Then it crosses through, Panama, which is actually surprising because that could rule out to be corruption due to the fact that Panama, is pretty much allied with the U.S. There might be something going on down there. Of course, hands it to Jalisco and Sinaloan cartels, and that pipeline just basically acts as right through the border.
Absolutely.
Just a straight beeline into American sovereignty. It's that easy, and that's why they call it a pipeline, I guess, because it just flows in.
So it's a metaphorical, or it's not a physical pipe, but more of a metaphorical route. For how this country can how this drug can physically enter.
The quantity of fentanyl,
like the Underground Railroad. That. But here, this pipeline has like 4 points it reaches. China is like the flow. That's where the stream. That's where like the water pressure is made.
Okay. That's the rain. That's where it comes.
That's where it comes from. That's the source. And then we have India, which is kind of, I don't know. Is there a back door to a faucet? That's one back door to a faucet.
Yeah, like a water treatment.
But then you have the three.
Like an overflow pressure gauge.
Yeah. You got the three main sources where you actually like send them to, and the pressure gauge. India's the pressure gauge.
Absolutely. You're trying to get too full, India's right there.
Exactly.
L knows his
three
plumbing.
Main, L knows plumbing. L should have been a plumber. No, he shouldn't have been a plumber. No, listen,
I plumb.
Have you plumb?
I plums,
Do you plumb?
I plumb.
He plums.
Hey,
I plumb.
You hear that?
He's plumbing.
There are 3 points of flow. There are 3 destinations. It reaches Canada, South America, or directly North America, or the U.S.
Specifically the U.S. Although I see you do have a map up here. I do see that this drug can go straight from China into the U.S. or even Canada, which
that's where
I always imagine Canadians as they could do no harm.
No.
Well,
wow.
Oh, dude. See, it's like
speak for themselves.
It's like mail. People mail their drugs nowadays, and we got comments in the chat. Oh, they're in Chinese. We can't really read them.
Oh, I apologize.
We're sorry.
We don't. About that, guys.
We apologize.
Maybe we'll learn Mandarin, in the future, but unfortunately, we don't understand now. But how many viewers do we have now, though, Jesse?
We got 2 views. 2 views right now. 2 viewers.
Thank you guys so much.
You guys mean the world to us.
For real.
We hope you know that.
Guys popping in.
One of them we might know one of them.
Hey, maybe.
But that besides the point.
But yeah, like as that map, you see there's a lot of routes, you know. Just
I wish we could show you. Eventually, we'll get up to the
Yeah.
editing where we can live scroll up a map
Oh,
for
wow.
you guys to watch. I want to
wow.
be. We're gonna get a
some
little more
editing on,
advanced
right?
here.
Yeah.
We're gonna get your editor boy.
Sorry about that now.
He's the man behind the computer.
Yes,
I'm telling
he
you.
is, you know. But yeah, it's, you know, we're still warming up to the podcast method, so, you know, just bear with us. But in the future, it'll always get better. So, no way but up, you know what I mean?
So for those of you that are with us now, we
Yeah.
really appreciate it because it's only going to get better from here.
It's only gonna get better.
Sticking us from the beginning, you know?
So here it is. We're gonna go back to the document now. The way that it affects the U.S., we have to discuss that because we live here. This is where we are. So
Now, are we specifically talking about the physical effects, the social, the economical?
Like in major cities, or talking about the generation?
So I want to talk about the grave impact of fentanyl. So since the 2000s, there have been millions of overdoses regarding opioids. One upcoming opioid that's particularly potent, as we've discussed, is fentanyl. And the COVID-19 pandemic worked against this war on drugs, you know, by kind of breaking apart the supply chain a little bit, you know, because, you know, in COVID, you got all those isolated users, and they just can't get their fix.
Mm-hmm.
So, but in recent years, Mexico has increased their say in fentanyl coming to the U.S. So it's not just China pushing out their stuff with India. It's China, Mexico, India coming to Canada and the U.S. And, you know, it's pushed by both southern borders and northern borders, you know, as we see in Canada.
Where we are surrounded by it.
Interception.
Narcotics on all fronts, huh?
So,
It's a lot of fentanyl.
in terms of demographics, it affects specifically non-white, non-Hispanic white Americans. And that's just with opioids, but it particularly affects a lot of veterans. I've seen a lot of veterans on streets that are just not doing well.
Mm-hmm.
And this easy drug can really make them feel good, you know?
Well, a terrible thing that is unfortunately quite popular, I'll say, in the United States is we do not treat our veterans with the respect that they deserve.
That's true.
They go out and they give their lives for us, and they return home to be nothing more than equivalent to a street rat.
I agree with that, L.
It's truly a terrible thing that is another epidemic in its own, is that these war heroes come back home, they're forced into the streets, either to sell their bodies, to sell whatever they can, to steal. Just corruption envelops them, and they're turned to drugs. And this newest drug on the street, fentanyl, is killing them.
So it's unfortunate for our service members, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you know, it's unfortunate because it's also the youth as well that are getting into, more specifically, fentanyl, due to the fact that how cheap it is to manufacture and the fact how easy it is to be laced into various other drugs.
And how just readily available it
Yeah.
is to produce, to consume.
Mm-hmm.
It's dangerous. It sneaks into anything.
Yeah.
I've heard that I've heard stories of high schoolers who go out and try to buy some marijuana, and next thing they know, it's laced with fentanyl, and they overdose.
Oh wow.
But the marijuana is just marijuana. Like, I haven't heard it be called marijuana, but yeah, they're buying some, you know,
The government term.
specifically THC carts.
THC, the
That's
active
that
ingredient of
stuff.
marijuana, correct?
THC, Delta 9
Be
THC.
laced.
It could
But
be
yeah, you
laced,
know, speaking on the youth, you know, since opioid-related, you know, issues or cases, they lead to a decrease in life expectancy. So, speaking of high school kids or college kids, you know, you're taking all these laced drugs or fent itself, like, you might not live past the age of 50, my boy. You know what I mean?
You've got 18-year-old kids,
Yeah.
you have 17, 18, 19-year-old kids.
Mm-hmm.
Just, you know, they might be junkies, they're a little messed up, but they're just trying to get high. And next thing they know, they're either in a hospital or
Gone.
they're 6 feet under.
It's unfortunate because, like, of course, you know, we all think it's part of a plan. Do you guys agree with the CCP?
Yeah.
Killing the young?
Oh, absolutely.
Because you know how
So-
that relates to an
Absolutely.
economy and an economic standpoint. You know, the less young people you have, the the worst, for jobs and employment.
Yeah, that's right.
Population issues.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it's all a plan, you think about it.
It's
an agenda.
When you're talking about it economically, it's costed us $1.5 trillion. This entire opioid crisis in 2020.
In a single year.
1.5 trillion.
1.5 trillion.
That's more than most countries' GDPs.
That was 7% our GDP that year.
Damn.
So we got majorly backtracked with that amount of money, that amount of funds having to be spent on.
And when you say spent on, you mean, does that include, say, people that are hospitalized?
I'd say, yeah, rehabilitation, just paying attention and addressing to the needs of these people.
Say border control.
Yeah.
I assume border control was increased to try to stop this drug.
This is regarding the opioid epidemic as a whole.
So cumulatively, every dollar spent on trying to stop this drug infiltrating the U.S.
To be honest, I wouldn't even say that. I would say more than $1.5 trillion because there's a lot more that goes to play than just blocking it out through the border. There are deals to be made. There's stuff to happen. But Jordan, you were talking about the labor force.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, just
so with opioids being
sense,
responsible for a significant portion of the workforce absence.
You're alright, no Jesse.
Yeah,
you're alright, no Jesse.
I'm a little hiccup. It's all good.
What did he say?
No, it's all good.
Okay. So.
Jerkland?
Sorry?
Jerkland? Call me Jerkland?
Jerkland?
Man, I'm Jussie. You all know.
So is that?
Yeah. But yeah, speaking on the youth, it's all the agenda of the CCP. The less young people you have, the worse the economy will be. Who would provide for the the taxes, the jobs, the money, the corporations? They need young people. Young people are basically the
next generation.
Yeah, the seeds that will rule the country in the future.
Life goes on.
Yeah.
Currently the boomers, the millennials. Yeah. The boomers were, they're in corporate jobs. The millennials are taking over.
Yeah, labor jobs.
And next is Gen Z, and even Gen Z. I wouldn't say obviously there's Gen X, and I don't know if we're on to Gen Y.
Is it Gen Y or is it Gen Alpha? That's like
I have heard Gen Alpha too.
Yeah.
But we're talking about 10-year-olds here.
Yeah.
On the streets, part of the cartel. I'm sure there's kids younger than 10 that are part of the cartel smuggling this drug across the border to give to 15-year-olds here in the United States that are just trying to get high. They're just junkies. They don't understand what's going on, and they're laced with this deadly potent drug.
That's true. Young people on all sides of this issue are suffering.
So, now that you guys know what happens to us, make sure to, if you get bored, look up people walking through Oakland. You'll see people on Fent actively there. You'll just see people, just look up a video of how fentanyl really hurts people, and you'll see how these people are living in shambles of what their lives used to be. You see someone living in a tent, this drug pulls up, they sell that tent for this banger of a drug.
Yeah.
This is fentanyl. This is that real shit.
That real shit, indeed.
It's, so, listen, it worries me a little bit because I don't want this to be the drugs that I have to worry about my kids taking in the future. I don't want to have to worry about it being laced with fent. There was already enough of a trouble with people getting laced with things like PCP, roofies, Roofies and PCP, you can kind of tell when those things are in there, but with a powdered substance like fentanyl, that stuff...
This is the amount and how potent it is.
You wouldn't really notice it until you take your first puff, and then you're absolutely gone. You're dead.
Yeah.
And a lot of that fits into the amount of fake narcotics that are sold. So people nowadays are selling a lot of drug dealers sell fake pills. I've seen in the news. Mm-hmm. So they'd be selling fake Percocets, fake oxycodone, fake pills. And
other opioids of the sort.
These pills are coated with fentanyl. And the lengths that these people go to is, they know they're buying the fake pills, but you know why? They're buying it for the fentanyl. And they're either smoking the fentanyl off of the pills.
Wow.
In little tinfoil pipes.
So similar to sort of, you could say, back in the day when Coca-Cola had cocaine in their recipe.
Yeah.
People, obviously, they're just like, I'm just going to go get some Coca-Cola. and then they get high, they get addicted,
Yeah.
and everyone's like, why, your life has changed so much, what's wrong? And you're just like, I don't know, I just use Coca-Cola.
Coca-Cola be hitting.
You're drinking too much
It's the same thing with
Coca-Cola.
this. People are like, oh, I'm just going to go buy some Percocets, some Oxycodone, because there's obviously other benefits to these drugs. There's medicinal...
When they're prescribed.
When they're prescribed. Obviously, getting them on the street.
There are always going to be people getting
not using them for its right purpose,
Mm-hmm.
but they don't even know that they're buying a completely different drug, a much more powerful, potent, deadly drug.
Yeah.
which is fentanyl.
Which is fentanyl.
So, China, just to sum it up, China, as we know, has been the number one supplier of fent. And I'm personally glad I've never been near fentanyl. Because even, how easy it is to get overdosed by it.
Real easy. It's super common nowadays that even cops all around the country, their departments, in every single SUV, there is a fentanyl OD prevention kit in every trunk of a car.
Yeah. That is how common this drug is.
Specifically made for this exact issue. It's bad when every department needs to have a kit. It's that easy.
I assume there's first aid kits,
right.
CPR kits,
Yep.
and now specifically a kit designed to stop an overdose from this specific drug. That is how big of an epidemic and a crisis this is.
Yeah.
It's a drug that just kind of took us up from under, It kind of just pulled up.
Just like COVID.
Yeah, it was like
It's an epidemic for sure.
It's like a Kanye album, man.
Oh, please elaborate. I want to hear this.
It was, pulled up, and it may or may not have been terrible.
I can assure you, this is terrible.
This is
This is absolutely terrible.
So it just came in here, it made a name for itself, and it's a really weaponized drug, I believe. I think it's weaponized. That's my.
Oh, absolutely, it's weaponized.
I fully agree with you on that.
Like most things that come to the U.S. from China, they have found a way to weaponize it. Or not even found a way, that was their original goal.
Another way of things being weaponized is like Bluetooth devices that you buy that are Chinese made. Like some lady bought this Chinese vacuum cleaner.
A vacuum cleaner?
And it connected to her Bluetooth, her Wi-Fi, and it did that all to contact a server back in China. So I'm telling you, that stuff was listening.
Holy shit.
So private information.
There's warfare all around. This is just the most blatant form of warfare.
Yeah.
It's fucking drugs. You got drugs coming in. Corrupting
the entire society that makes up America.
Crippling our economy. Killing our children.
Yeah, they're fighting the battle before the war's even started, basically.
There you go.
So, I think we covered a lot of points here today. First, we spoke about a little bit of a background on fentanyl. We talked about how it's, what was it again? Like, how many times stronger than...
100 times stronger than heroin.
100 times
stronger than morphine.
50
times stronger than heroin.
100 times stronger than morphine.
Yeah.
50 times more than heroin.
But all I'm going to say is that 100 times, 50 times, that's a big margin anyways,
Oh, yeah.
And heroin, 50 times stronger than that, holy shit,
So, one thing we didn't discuss, actually, is Congressman David Trone's article discussing how China has a pivotal role in the fentanyl crisis in the U.S. He just delves over the amount of overdoses on young Americans, and he basically sums up to the same thing that we said. China is the primary source of precursor chemicals used by Mexican cartels to manufacture the drug. This is from Congressman David Trone. So he just said everything we said.
So the congressman
we said
knows the
everything
truth.
he said.
So he's copying us.
He's copying.
Yeah,
us.
we're clearly the originals.
So
He subscribed.
So yeah, there's an act that was introduced that I didn't mention. It was the End Fentanyl Act, and it was introduced. Guess what? To strengthen our border.
Thank God.
And curb fentanyl coming here. Just prevent it. Just do everything to really put a gate over the window.
I was gonna ask. We've been talking about all this destruction and the origins that this drug, the destruction, the effects that this drug has on us. What can we do to prevent it? As Americans, as citizens, how do we stop this drug from infiltrating?
I can tell you that you can root for this bill because it mentions that there needs to be uniform inspection. Well, it includes there being more uniform inspection at borders. So what I think is, you could be in favor of this bill, but what we can do to prevent ourselves from being harmed by fentanyl is simply checking in with our kids, making sure we're not taking any screwed up drugs. And if you're taking screwed up drugs, you better know how to check them to see if they're good.
Or you might OD.
So another way of saying that is that obviously life is tough.
Yeah.
Sometimes you need a break. Whether it be, most people, I would say, just a beer. Alcohol is relatively safe.
Till it's not.
In moderation.
When it gets bad.
As
a
with
relatively
everything.
safe way to relax.
Yeah.
So should you decide to go down the route of taking drugs with the sole purpose of, bettering yourself or
Coping.
Thank you. A de-stressor, coping with just when life gets tough. Buy it from a trusted source is what you're saying.
Yeah. Just
if you're a kid, just tell your parents.
If you're going to be doing this kind of stuff, you might as well try your best to steer clear from fentanyl. And for those of you who don't do it, you really don't have to worry about it if you don't do any drugs. Just stick to your alcohol, stick to your cigarettes or cigars, and you'll be all right. But for everyone else who's smoking weed, taking perks, who's vaping even, this stuff...
A big thing that's taken over.
This stuff can easily intercept what you have going on with you. So just please stay safe and stay informed with what you're buying and what you're using.
Stay aware, stay safe. Great. I love that you said that because we're looking out for all of you guys. You guys mean the world to us. We want the best for you. So just be honest with the people around you. Tell people.
You got a boy in the chat.
Tell people what's going on.
Narcan is the real life saver. There it is, dude.
Narcan
is the absolute lifesaver. That's yes, sir. That's
is that?
I believe that's
our
what
boy.
The police
that's what's in the police cruisers.
Yeah, I believe so.
Okay.
Because that's what they
there we go.
Narcan. Remember that YouTube video, the cop that OD'd? I think that's what they used Narcan to prevent him from actually dying.
So if you're in a city, if you know of someone that could possibly be laced, I guess
help them out, bro.
Yeah.
Stock up on some Narcan.
Get Narcan. Some universities get
appreciate that viewer for telling us that.
Yeah, thank you that viewer that told us
that.
about the Narcan. Narcan's great. It's a great anti-drug.
But yeah, so as we're discussing, if you are doing these things,
we're done with this, yeah.
Yeah.
Just go ahead.
But speaking of the Narcan,
just come join the conversation, everyone. We're gonna be here for a little bit more. We're not going anywhere.
We'll be hanging out. But always have Narcan on you.
Dude,
if you find anyone that is ODing, we would like you to help. If you had Narcan, you would save a life.
I feel like you should just call the cops if someone's ODing, but take it into your own hands.
But if it's
do not put yourself in harm's way in order to save someone else. We don't need two lives on our hands.
I'm thinking like this as like an EpiPen. You know what I mean?
Dude, that is kind of what I'm thinking.
Strapped,
you see someone ODing in the streets, you just
whip it out.
And they just wake up like an adrenaline show. Yeah. Just whew, alright, I'm good now.
There you go.
I doubt that that's how it happens.
Probably not.
Alright, this is still nothing to play with. It is a very serious thing. It is not to be taken lightly.
Mm-hmm. Dude, you can, this stream is live, so you can see myself walk up and check the camera. So that's my bad, boys. But great educational stuff, guys.
Give ourselves a round of applause.
Get a round of applause.
Well done. And to you guys, the viewers, we really couldn't do it without you. So a big round of applause to you guys. Thank you so much.
Hopefully we get more people on this. We're gonna be tweeting whenever we stream more frequently now. So just follow us on Twitter, HSF Productions, at The Real Talk, I believe.
Absolutely. And spread the word of this epidemic that's going on.
Yeah, please.
You don't even have to. We encourage you to link people to our page to stay more informed, to any one of our websites, Twitter. Obviously here on YouTube, we're streaming multiple times a week. Getter, Rumble.
Yeah. We were supposed to stream on Getter today.
We apologize.
We had technical issues. Difficulties.
But just spread the word about what's going on. Make sure that your friends, your family, your loved ones, keep them safe, keep them informed. The best way to reverse the effects that this drug has infiltrating the U.S. Is to inform people about it.
Yeah. That's right, and you can do that also. We covered a lot of everything we're going to be talking about here is covered in our YouTube channel and our TikTok, HSF Productions. I really suggest you guys check out the TikTok. If you like to absorb information in a kind of short attention span, short of form of way, like you just get a quick video, quick information, please view it. We're going to be delving into everything a little more seriously here, but, still pretty unhinged. It's going to be chill.
Indeed.
All right.
But you guys feel like you want to end this segment now?
I think we're good. Just do your shit, man.
Hey, guys, thank you guys for attending the Real Shit podcast. And as always, Jussie, out!
Wow.
L, my friend.
We encourage you to link people to our page to stay more informed, to any one of our websites, Twitter, obviously here on YouTube, we're streaming multiple times a week. Getter, Rumble.
Yeah. We were supposed to stream on Getter today.
We apologize.
We had technical
issues.
difficulties.
But just spread the word about what's going on. Make sure that your friends, your family, your loved ones, keep them safe, keep them informed. The best way to reverse the effect that this drug has infiltrating the U.S. Is to inform people about it.
Yeah, that's right. And you can do that also. We covered a lot of everything we're going to be talking about here is covered in our YouTube channel and our TikTok.